Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy, sir, of the 2020 Podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC. And before you listen to this episode, I just got to let you know, I need you to stop what you're doing. Go to blkrenaissance.com, and I need you to shop for the culture. That's right. Anytime you use the promo code LLC20 at Black Renaissance Clothing's website, you will get 20% off your order. Off rip, no questions asked. So do me a favor and do it for the culture. Peace.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sade with Black on Black Rhymes. Step to the mic.
Mic check.
People always ask me where I get my confidence from, and I get it from inside. It's an inside thing, y'all. And when it comes to beautiful skin, I rock with Blendia by India, where her motto is, be confident in your skin. She has a variety of naturally made soaps to keep you smelling good, hair products for long, luscious, healthy hair, and even beard products for men. You know, we got to keep those struggle beards away. So visit BlendiaByIndia.com and use promo 2020skin to get 10% off your order. Thank you, Blendia by India, for being a sponsor of the 2020 Podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC.
Hey, this is Butter So Fly of Powerlines Poetry, here to let you know anytime I feel good, I have to look good, so you have to listen to me. Make sure you go to gurudesigns.com, use a 3 instead of an E. The website is great, so you can get something for yourself, and then she makes custom clothes for men too. And guess what? I got a promo code for you. Use 20/20 and it'll get you 15% off of any order $25 or more. You can't beat that. Go to gurudesigns.com.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
Okay, we lit it just like a fuse, so no need to pick and choose. Welcome to 2020, where we do more than interviews. The hottest be coming through, jumping knowledge on all of you. Get a bigger the front of you with the truth that they offer you. Yeah, hands up, we doing it for the culture. To give artists and businesses more exposure. Keeping it real and stay silent just like a boulder. It's about to go all the way down, can't get no lower. Chasing my dreams, know that they get no slower. But if I stay running, I promise they getting closer. Moreover, success my older. And if you're sleeping on me, I'm waking them up like Folgers. I told you, coming from the land with the tide roll. Well, we'll be on a whole different vibe though. We like to ride slow and keep our windows tinted so you really can see us like Stevie Wonder waking up with his eyes closed. Yeah, got the kind of flow that rock the boat. On my 16s of pounds of dough. And if you figure you can hang with me on the mic, then grab some rope. Matter of fact, better grab some hope. While you at it, we keep it live, it's time to tune in. Turn up the sound on what you're using. It goes so hard, I think it's bruising. The show is 2020, no need to zoom in. Yeah.
Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy, sir, of the 2020 Podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC. And I got a special guest today. Miss KJ Cross is in the building today. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Hey. Now, just like I did before I even hit record, I'm going to do it again. I wanted to thank you for taking time. Taking time out your day to do this interview.
It's an honor. It really is. I don't take it lightly.
I don't make me feel big. All right. So Miss KJ, we're gonna get right into it if you don't mind. So if anybody was to ask, what it is that you do for a living, what would you tell them?
Well, for a living, I am in broadcast journalism. I was a former radio host. I used to host a show called What's Up, What's Happening. I am a television producer, but I also advocate for mental health. I'm currently studying clinical mental health counseling. A lot of people don't know that. I'll be done next year with my master's degree.
Oh, snap.
So I study the brain and I do a lot of research, basically.
Well, that's dope. I didn't even know you were a student. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been on both sides of mental health. I've been the patient and I've been, the person that advocates for mental health and the person, especially Black mental health.
And I'm glad you said that because one, I want to make a point. You said you've been the patient and the student. Haven't we all? You know what I'm saying? In a way.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons that, and I mentioned to you earlier, I was drawn to you because you have a way of doing these pop-up lives, and they are just filled with affirmations that I feel touch people. in ways that I don't even think you realize. And it's just pure transparency, just a fresh way of looking at things in a positive light. And I appreciate that. And then once I snooped a little bit and seen what you did, I was like, oh, this she's amazing. Let's get her up on the screen. She's always behind the stuff. Let's talk to her, especially to kick off Black History Month for one. And I reached out and you agreed to this interview. So uh going forward with your history in media, I always like to ask, like, we understand when we hear producer, it kind of goes in one ear and we have an idea. But to clarify, what does the title producer imply? What are like your day-to-day activities?
Wow. Well, I know for a lot of people, they don't like for most people, when they look at media, they see a person on TV and that's it. Well, I'm
Mm,
the producer, which means I control the show. It means I pick the stories for the day, I write the stories, I time the show, I'm in the anchor's ear, I'm telling them what to do, I'm telling them where to move, I'm telling them where to stand, I'm telling them where to go. I think production is kind of overlooked because you don't see them all the time. I have been on air as well, but um, I think most people overlook producers, and I've heard one person tell me like, "Oh, you're just the person that makes people look good." I had one girl, she told me something about, well, you're not even on air, you're just a producer. But let me tell you, when it comes to music production and podcast production and things like that, when they get a Grammy, you get a Grammy. And every
mm,
time that movie is played, that show is played, or that song is played, you're making money as a producer. You're making money for years, and people, even though you may not ever be seen. So, yeah, I basically control the show. I drive the show, and I decide, what's important for today.
and I think that's important because we often hear you are what you eat. And
Right.
I think that's physically, spiritually, and mentally. I think what you see and what you ingest in the morning is kind of indicative of how your day is going to go. Because how many times have you gotten bad news early in the morning and it just ruined your
Yeah.
day?
Yeah, yeah. I always try to end shows on a very light note because I don't want the entire show to be death and destruction. Like, of
Mhm.
course, there are some facts you need to know, but I like to end it on it's not to scare people, but to inform them. But I also like to advocate also for Black people and tell Black stories. My undergrad
Mhm.
minor was African American Studies. So I
Wow.
tie that into Black mental health, and I tie that into, even in the media. I'm that person who I believe in highlighting the Black community. And, I'm the one on Facebook looking and seeing what's going on, what's important to the community around me. Because there is no story without the community, because that's who it's for.
That's facts. And I kind of want to guide that question towards what you just stated. With advocating for mental health, with advocating, for those Black stories, because that is an issue. Representation does seem to be skewed nowadays, and the fact that you are gearing, those more positive stories towards our community means a lot. That's part of the reason why I even started this broadcast. To even begin with, it's because I wanted to shine a light on those who may not get as much, I guess, as many flowers as I feel they should. And the
Right,
fact that
right,
you, a Black woman, are helping run this show that affects so many people in our area is astounding. It's nothing short of amazing, you know?
right, right.
And
I
and
definitely try. I definitely try.
you know. Um so I wanted to ask this. I wanted to take a couple steps back if you don't mind. Now, typically when you have a career, you had a starting point that was like the inspiration. So, like, how long have you been active in media, and also what inspired you to stay within media?
Well, I've been active in media for a while now. Oof, I would say I started. I think I did MMJ in college, which is multimedia journalism and reporting. I started, in college. So that was almost 10 years ago. And no, it's not 10. It's been a real long time. And then I stepped out. I can't even do math. See, we won math majors in journalism. I did. From there, I went into my first job I started off as a production assistant. And I wasn't making a lot of money, but I got to travel. I got to be on air. I have, done shows. I've worked with some of the top artists and actors and actresses. So it's been fun. It's been fun. So I started because honestly, I saw a picture of Oprah on the anchor desk. And that's what
Mm,
made me think that I could be in news and media. And so from there, in my first year of media, I was exposed to something called vicarious trauma, and that means secondhand trauma.
mm,
In the media, you're seeing a lot of the unedited footage. You're writing these stories days and hours, and I'll never forget. My first story was of a missing teenager, and I put her face on the news every single day. I did not care who got tired of it. I did not care who didn't like it. I did it every single day. And my heart broke when they found her body.
mm,
Um, she was a black girl. She was I think maybe mixed or something. But I put her face on there every single day because I said there's a mother out there. And if that's my child, that's how I want it to be. And it started to take an emotional toll on me. And even prior to that, I had a struggle with depression. So that's how it got me to mental health. One day I also had a dream. I was laying next to my husband. I had a dream, and it was the dream that I was going back to school. And mind you, I'm in my career. I'm thriving. I'm living well. I'm fine. I don't need anything. I never had a desire to go back to school to do anything. So that's when I started my journey in mental health.
that is amazing and frightening at the same time. I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you. And I'm not. I was trying to find another word, but there's no other word that can kind of describe that. Um, to be tasked with helping locate someone is a big task within itself. But to also, receive that news of, the demise of someone, um, and have to report it. I can't imagine what that's like because I haven't been in that position. So I'm speechless. I don't even know what I would do in that case. I don't know if I could even function. So kudos to you for recognizing what it was and finding a way out of that. Um, because the thing about the news and the unfortunate part of it is that unfortunately the show must go on, and that is an unfortunate thing that I hate to say out loud, but it's the truth because that is your job. So kudos to you for being able to, you know, I guess stomach it and take it in stride and still know that although you weren't able to give the outcome you wanted, you know, you still played a part in, attempting to save this person's life, you know? And I don't know
Yeah,
if that
definitely.
means anything, but that means the world to me.
Definitely, definitely.
So, and sorry to get so dark all of a sudden.
No,
but
no, it's fine. It's fine.
let's talk about that trauma. Were there any other obstacles that you encountered along the way of this career?
Absolutely. I mean, being the person who, that secondhand trauma. I mean, we've gone through a lot of social, unrest, civil unrest, with the George Floyd protest. I can remember working from home during that time. And I can remember, everything, the protests and everything that was happening. And as a journalist, I felt like, okay, I'm not just a journalist, I'm a black journalist. So I'm
Mm,
going to tell this story from the correct perspective, you know? It was just really emotionally taxing. because I felt bad for my people. I felt bad for my community. I understood the very, the pain, of his family. I
Mm-hmm.
also understand the fear, just like I do of every black man, every black woman that gets pulled over by a police officer. I understand that fear in my heart. So I make sure to write the story correctly and write it from the right perspective. And I can remember being in the newsroom. Everybody would yell out and ask me questions about how to write this or how to, because they knew I was the one that's going to be pro-black, or I was the one who was going to say, no, you need to change that. You need to write it this way, because we have
Mm-hmm.
to tell it with accuracy, especially when it affects a community. And being the person that I share that pain, I share that trauma. I think that there is a level of trauma in pretty much all black people, because I mean something generationally has happened, that was passed down. We all feel that pain. And
Yeah.
so I felt that very pain as I was watching, the protest and watching what was going on. I felt that pain. And it was a couple of years ago. I actually had the opportunity to meet Representative John Lewis, and we actually
Wow.
had a conversation about journalism and my writing. And he thanked me for writing, and that just blew my mind, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Representative John Lewis talking to me about journalism. And I thanked him for his sacrifice, for somebody having their head busted open just so black people would have the right to vote. So definitely, I mean, I share that pain and I empathize with my community. I try to make sure to write and report the facts accurately, about what's going on every day. Of I think it was the trial for the officers, Derek Chauvin, and I watched those trials every single day. Every single day, I watched them, and I would go back to the newsroom and I would go and write about what happened, because I felt like
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't accurately write about it unless I watched the entire thing. So I did that. Um, I watched the trial of Amber Geiger, so so that I can go back and accurately write about what happened.
Mm. So all of this, and I'll be frank with you, this sounds uh, a bit exhausting and time consuming. So, how do you personally balance your work life and your personal life?
I would say that balance is a myth, because I don't really know. I still don't know technically how to balance, but I am learning to put myself first, especially as I talk about, mental health. I want to make sure that I'm giving people the things that I wasn't, the things that I'm doing myself. So
Yeah.
a few weeks ago I kind of took a break, and people were inboxing me like, where is the post? You didn't post anything. It was because I had to make sure that I gave myself rest, and I gave myself the time to recuperate and my
Hmm.
time to be present, because I can't give you anything if I don't have anything. So I mean, I think the way that I balance is putting myself first, putting me first. If I'm tired, I'm tired. If I can't do it, I can't do it. If I can't come, I can't come. Because I know, especially with the suicide of Miss USA 2019 that just occurred, you have a
Yeah.
lot of people saying, check on your strong friends. A lot of time, this strong friend mentality is the mentality of a person who has denied themselves. They have denied putting their own selves first. I don't think that we should technically have strong friends. I think that your friendship should be equal. It should always be reciprocation in any relationship. You can't just come and dump on me, and you're nowhere to be found when I'm going through. Like, I think it
Yeah.
needs to be reciprocation. So just basically putting myself first, making sure that, hey, I got the rest that I need. I got the energy that I need. I'm getting what nutrition is big, that I'm drinking enough water, making sure that I'm eating very well, making sure I check in with a therapist. I go to therapy. Even though I post about mental health, I am accountable to another practitioner that knows exactly what I'm doing, and they know what
Mm,
I'm saying, and they know about my lies before I did it. Every person that I bring on, I vet them out. I have probably been in relationship with some of them for years or months, and we talk privately before I bring them to an audience because I don't want to cause harm to anybody else. So I think that, just putting me first, putting me first mentally, putting me first spiritually, physically. That's how I balance, if that's the thing. Because I think balance sometimes is a myth. Is a myth. I don't. I still haven't figured the complete juggle to it yet.
the more I live, the more I reach more birthdays, the more I understand it's more pursuit of the balance rather than achieving
Right.
the
Right.
balance.
Right.
It's because sometimes with the way that life is, nothing is constant. Everything is like ebbing and flowing. So you have to sometimes reallocate certain activities or energy accordingly. So that was a very good answer. Very good answer. You hit the nail on the head. So
Yeah. Trying to balance is definitely. It's definitely a juggle. So I think it's kind of more so doing what works for you, doing
yes,
what works for you more than it is balance, because I remember the days I get frustrated because I'm like, well, I'm gonna go do this, then boom, I get a nail in my tire and I gotta spend 2 hours at the repair shop getting a new
yes,
tire, waiting in line. So it's more so just doing what works for you and putting you first. It's not selfish to do that, making sure you have what you need.
I heard that. I'm gonna take that and receive that because that was definitely meant for me. All right. So my next question, and this is more one of those questions that allows you to reflect, like over your career, the entirety of it. Honestly, what would you say has been like your most memorable moment? And when I say most memorable, I mean one of those positive moments where you're like, you know what? This is why I went to school. This is why I do it. This is why I go through the BS. This kind of confirms why I'm here. This is my purpose. Would you have a moment like that?
In journalism or mental health,
I'm a
or
I'm a go for both if I may be greedy.
okay. Um, for me, mental health, I would say when I get those inboxes saying thank you,
Mm,
I feel heard, I feel seen, I feel valued, like you get me. Like I may not like your post, but I see what you're saying. I get you. Thank you. That reassures me that okay, I'm doing the right thing. That okay, I'm not pursuing this degree for anything. But most importantly, it assures me that that there are people who understand. And I always try to make sure that what I'm saying comes from a place of humility
mm,
because I post from a place of understanding and empathy because not every therapist is a good therapist, not every mental health
mm,
worker is a good one. You have people who do it because they have something to prove, or I got this degree, I'm Dr. So and so, and you need help, and I'm here. No, 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 I'm not here to give anybody direction or to look down on them. I'm here to partner with them in
mhm,
pursuit of their own healing. It is a relationship. I'm working with them, not over them, type of thing. So, that to me, that is my most memorable thing when people are telling me that I'm helping them because that's why I do it. I created the safe space because there was a time in my life, as a teenager going through depression, battling suicidal thoughts, attempting suicide multiple times, that I did not have a safe space. So I wanted to make sure that everybody else had what I did not have. And I wanted to make sure they had it free of charge. Every practitioner I've, brought on, I have purchased their products, I've given them away. I have given free resources away because I want to make sure that Black and Brown communities have access to mental health. So that's why I do it. As far as, my journalism career, I don't think I necessarily have a most memorable moment because
Mm.
there's so much every day from day to day. So I don't necessarily say that I have one memorable moment. I think every day I go in with the mindset of helping people, changing their lives, and informing them. So navigating this pandemic, you know, I'm just glad to, to do it. So I don't think I have necessarily one moment in that, in my career.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to take that question and I'm going to flip it because I firmly believe for every high, there's a low. And I believe you kind of touched on it a little bit when discussing mental health. So, at any point, did you feel that you would not be successful? And if so,
Absolutely.
who or what changed your mind?
I think I have those thoughts of not being successful every day.
Mm,
Um, I think I've always had those thoughts. And truth is, I had to reevaluate and say, what is success? Because what
mhm.
is my success? Success for me and success for you may be two different things. So, what is
Ooh,
my success? And I think for me, my success is being at peace, being happy, being able to sleep well at night, being able to eat well. That to me says success. I don't think it's any award that can give me a success. I've won, I've one of our weekend show won a nappy. I'm the producer of that. I've won Associated Press Awards, first place. But my I think the thing that gives me success is being able to live and be at peace. I
mm,
value that more than anything, and I think about that because I think about Miss. She was Miss America 2019, and she still took her life. So
yeah.
clearly, she had achieved all these things, but something in her was still dying inside. So I think for me, success is being healed, success is being whole, success is being happy, success is being at peace for me. It may look different for some people. There are some people who think success is, going to this station, going to that, winning that award. That means absolutely nothing to me. It's just being able to be whole, healed, and at peace inside.
Whew. Ooh. That was the answer right there, man. You did that. All right. Well, I'm not even gonna shuffle along. I'm just gonna throw up the next question. So this is my long term question because KJ, I'm really interested with that answer of success is what you make it, essentially.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I think also, when you think about the American dream and what the American dream was, you're thinking of this white picket fence, big house, and a dog in a yard, But whose American dream was that?
Hmm.
For some people, the American dream was just being able to vote, being able to be free, being able to live. So I think success just varies from person to person, family to family. And for me, it's just being at peace and being, healed and whole inside.
All right. So let me ask you this because I have a long term question that I want to present to you because
Okay.
I'm always interested to hear with people like you who, who deal with, the back and forth, but they're ever pushing forward. I want to know where would you like to see yourself in your career as a mental health advocate, generally as a person in the next 1 year, in the next 3 years, and then in the next 10 years.
Ooh, okay. So in the next year, I will have completed my degree.
Woo woo.
So I hope so. Of course, I'll be practicing in that 1 year, practicing in the mental health field, and that's where I really see myself. I see myself helping people heal, helping people, be whole, helping people feel heard, especially my people in the Black and Brown communities, helping them be heard, especially in the mental health, space, helping them feel comfortable. And I think if I can do that, then I feel like I have reached my goals. In the next 10 years, I see myself being a private practitioner. I want to make the safe space an actual space. Like I want it to be an actual space where people can come and maybe create like something like a place where, kids and teenagers can come and hang out and shoot basketball and feel,
Mm,
and feel safe knowing that, hey, somebody sees me, somebody values me. So I'm thinking like some type of facility, some type of place where,
Okay.
kids, something like, like kind of like the YMCA does, where
Yeah.
kids have a place to go and, burn some energy, because I think physical, and maybe even get something to eat, because I think physical and mental, it goes hand in hand. So for me, I think the height of my career would be helping people heal. I think that's most importantly, because we have so many people in the black and brown communities who are saying, you know what, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm well, and I'm looking and I'm like, you're not well, you're not okay. So just making mental health safe, making it, you know, removing the stigma. And I don't think I can do it completely by myself in a few years, but I think that I can make an impact locally. So just owning the private practice of the safe space will be my end goal.
Okay. And I speak it that I will look forward to seeing that practice come
Yeah,
to fruition,
yeah.
man. I would really love to see that, given your background, given your passion, because it's different hearing someone say they advocate for mental health, but you're going into depth as to why. You're being transparent, saying that you've battled this before, and I think that lends a credibility that, I'll be frank with you, a lot of Black people feel they don't receive when it comes to, therapy and counseling. That's the number one concern. They feel as if the person they're speaking to is just being paid to just be there.
Right, right. I've experienced that too. I see. I had already planned to be very candid in this interview.
Let's do it.
Um, I definitely, I've been there, and sometimes finding a therapist is like finding a good mechanic or finding a good hairdresser. Sometimes it takes going more than once or trying a
Mm,
different place, until you feel that you're getting what you need. I've dealt with counselors who were unethical. They did some things that I didn't know until I started studying. Like, dang, they should never have done that. They could lose their license if if somebody found out they did that. So I think for me, what helps me is that I've been on that side of the sofa. I had a very real struggle with depression for most of my life. When I was in the eighth grade, I went through bullying. I went through being called black. I'm dark skinned. So, being called black, being, humiliated, humiliated because of my skin tone, humiliated because of my size. Like I was like a good size 10 or 12. And I was just being humiliated for my size. And I thought that I was fat. I thought that I was dark. And I internalized that to the point where I wanted to take my life. And I
mm,
did take my life. I will try to take my life. Let me make sure I ain't dead and come back. I'm not Lazarus. But like I did try and take my life. I overdosed on prescription medication,
mm,
to the point where I did have to go to a hospital. I did try that again in college. I went through a very bad relationship where the guy in the relationship was so manipulative and narcissistic that I just like, it was almost like I lost control and I would think less of, myself. And so I remember my dad just not being able to help me. He was telling me like, you got to stop talking crazy. I went through loss. I lost family members back to back to back to back. It was in the span of months. And I
mm.
did this all while balancing pursuing a degree. So, I mean, I literally almost lost my mind. I remember sitting in the back of a church feeling like I should not be there. And one lady, I will never forget it. She got up and she didn't say a word. She just hugged me. And that hug, I just started to cry. So in that moment, I felt validated. So I think, just I understand. I
Mm.
understand. I've been through the depression. I was on antidepressants. It was a point in my life where I couldn't even like my pills, my actual medication that I took, I couldn't even touch it. Like it had to be given to me because of they were afraid that I would overdose again if I had it. So
Mm.
just hearing from my family, don't talk crazy. You're not crazy. Don't be talking like that, And even my dad, he said to me, "Okay, you want to commit suicide? I'm gonna give you my gun, and you go commit suicide because." And I think he was trying to use reverse psychology on me, but that just
Mhm.
wasn't a good tactic. So just helping people understand what this is in children, because I've seen the memes and a lot of people laugh at them, but it's the truth. When you tell your mom, I think I'm depressed, and they say, depress them dishes. You ain't got nothing to be depressed about. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no bills. Kids very much have a lot to be depressed about. Like literally, someone could, get on social media and say something or something that they see. They're in a different world, so they have to. It's important that we validate them. So,
Mhm.
mental health is really really important to me, because I could have, like, I literally shouldn't be here. Like, I have swallowed so many pills, just trying to, take my life and end it, because of what I was going through at the time, because of the bullying or because of the bad relationship and because of the loss that I went through. So I mean, it is definitely important to me.
Well, I'm definitely glad you're still here. I'm glad you're able to share that information because who knows, you telling that story may just be that hug that you needed that day. So
Absolutely.
I'm so glad that you shared that story. That's much needed. That's much needed. And I think, and I said this before, I think in world of social media where so many things are fake that are praised, is
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
genuinely good to hear someone be authentic and honest, you know. And it's okay to feel odd if you receive that from someone. And I'm speaking to people who are like me, who sometimes find it sometimes weird to receive a hug. And it's okay. It is perfectly okay. You are not an island. You're
Right,
supposed to be a
right.
community. So it's all right. So KJ, this brings me to my last question, and honestly, it's my favorite one because I always dedicate it to the ones who are listening and or watching. The hardest thing to do is to take an idea, that little glint of hope, and run with it. What words would you have for that person who has an idea, a passion, a first love, but they're afraid to pursue it? What would you tell them?
I would tell them the world needs you. There are so many people who have ideas, they have books, they have podcasts, they have businesses, they have songs and things like that they're sitting on, or they're like, oh, well, what if nobody listens to it? What if nobody downloads it? What if nobody likes it? Listen, all it takes is one person to hear that, one person to hear it, and they share it with millions. So know
Mm,
that, the world needs you. What you have to offer, it is not for you, it's for someone else. And
mm,
so you may be holding that lifeline for somebody else. Somebody needs to hear 2020 podcast LLC. They need to
hey,
hear the safe space. They need to hear that song. They need to read that book. They need that. What you have to realize it's not for you and it's not about you. It's for someone else and it's about someone else. So just know that, hey, the world needs what you have. The world needs it. It's all about timing and making sure that it's ready. Even, even in those seasons where it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm never gonna finish this. Continue to work at it, continue to perfect it, and just
mhm,
know that, hey, somebody needs this. Every time you do an episode of the 2020 podcast LLC, it's, you're getting better at it. You're getting better at it. But not only that, someone else is hearing what you have and they need it. So just know that the world needs what you have. I think that, we have too many people trying to be carbon copies. I don't think the world needs another Beyonce. They
mm,
need a you. They don't need another Oprah. They need a you. So they don't need another Tyler Perry. They need a you. So know that you are authentic. You are, you're not a clone. What you have is needed.
Mm, that was amazing. KJ, you said a mouthful. I'm gonna be honest, you inspired me today, and I'm damn sure you inspired those who are listening as well. Um, you mentioned the safe space, and just so people will know how to get in contact with you or get in contact with the safe space itself if they want to have inquiries or just join or just come and just see what it's about. What's the best way to become part of that space?
Okay, so the safe space is a digital community for now. And so, what you can do, you can go on Facebook and you can type in the safe space and you look for the red sofa on the cover photo. You can find the Instagram is at the safe space .mh. And so, basically, what we do on the safe space is I have all of the mental health practitioners I have brought on have been Black. They're educated people. We've talked about grief. We've talked about trauma. We've talked about self care. And I think a lot of people have their own thoughts of what a counselor or a therapist is going to look like or what they sound like. And so I wanted to break the stigma. I wanted to answer some of those questions for people who don't have access to therapy, or they don't know how to find the therapist, or they're afraid. So you might need a little appetizer of what a therapist is gonna talk about, or what they sound like, or what they do.
Mhm.
So I bring on a lot of mental health professionals to ask those questions that people have. I post things daily, just daily encouragement, daily quotes, daily things that you can carry throughout your day concerning your mental health. So you can like us, you can follow us, and that's like the best way to get in contact. If you want to inbox me, I'll respond. Anything like that. I'm just glad to help. I don't know every single thing there is to know. I don't think anybody does, but I'll definitely be glad to share what I know and help you find a good therapist, if
Mm.
you need one.
And that is wonderful to hear. It's always a pleasure to meet someone else who's at the service of our community and to be genuine. Like that's the key part. You sound, and I know you are so genuine about this, and you're passionate that it's very inspirational to see. I tip my hat to you, KJ.
Thank you so much. I definitely am genuine. I'm just trying to be or give someone free access to something that I did not have when I needed it. And
Hmm.
I was the person who the pills didn't work, but I want to make sure that before, for the next person that's contemplating that, or or don't know, how to find a therapist, or just doesn't have any support. They don't have that family support or anything like that. And it's unfair sometimes to expect family to understand depression and understand anxiety, because they haven't studied it. And for a lot of people, they find their relief in the church, and they don't know anything about the nervous system or the brain or disorders.
Yes.
They don't know how to treat it. And so, just making sure that that space is available. I'm someone who studies it, and I'm also somebody who's experienced it before. So just making sure that space is available. I've done things offline as well. I'm trained. I'm also I'm a trained crisis responder. I've been trained
Mm.
to respond to crisis situations, such as domestic violence, things like that. I've also, partnered with domestic violence shelter, making sure we get information out about domestic violence locally.
Yeah.
So, just that alone, like I genuinely care, and it's genuinely my heart just to make sure that people get the help that we need, because I know there's a stigma surrounding mental health, especially in the Black community. Just pray about it. I've heard it all. Oh, it's just a spirit. just pray about it, and you don't need no therapy, just talk to Jesus. All of those things, that invalidates what we feel. So
Yes.
I wanted to make sure that everybody knows, like, hey, there is a space where you can be seen, you can be heard, things like that.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, KJ. I'm not going to take up any more of your day because, like we talk about, that work-life balance is important.
Yeah, it's a
So,
myth.
man, it's definitely a journey. But that being said, this has been your boy, Sir KJ Cross. Phenomenal interview. And you guys make sure to go and follow, make sure to go and check out the safe space. And above all else, please make sure to please say the LLC. Peace. Be great.